Prashanth Neel is a distinctive filmmaker. Be it his visual style, which comprises of dim colors and silhouettes, or his morally ambiguous heroes or say anti-heroes, Prashanth's style is written all over his three feature films, Ugramm, KGF Chapter 1 and 2. His films share a ton of similarities thematically, visually, and narrative-wise. From a mother's promise being the central tool to the story, to the usage of voiceovers to narrate the progression of the story and character, Prashanth's stamp is clearly on display.
ಗುರಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ತೋರಿಸಿದಳು, ಆದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತಲುಪೋ ದಾರಿ ಅವನೇ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೋಬೇಕು.
ಮುಗೋರಿನ ಗವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಳಗಳು, ತೋಳಗಳ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಹ.
In fact, even the artwork and animation in the end credits of KGF bear a striking resemblance to Ugramm's opening. But a trademark beyond his visuals that I find fascinating is his editing, which is definitely his strongest zone, and he knows it.
Your peculiarity is, and I mean this in a very good sense, is that you give us slivers of that. You don't give us a scene, or you don't give us like shots even. It's almost like flashes of memory are happening rather than like an entire event being remembered. I think that's quite unique actually from what you're saying. It's like
so that sort of becomes from an edit point of view.
Yeah.
That we probably, I think most of us, we look at the scene and we say we just need something more over here, and because we already have the childhood portion, and we think, why don't we just bring it in over here, just to give that heightened sense of something big is going to happen in the future.
Hi, my name is Ram Venkateshekar, and in this video we'll be looking at Prashanth Neel's editing style. It is to be noted that editing as a craft never prevails individually. It is always very closely entwined with writing, and like in all films, in Prashanth's films too, these two crafts, they share a very strong bond. He uses editing to evoke an adrenaline rush, restlessness, to punctuate the importance of certain moments, and to create an overall sense of urgency. Okay, let me give you an example of how he uses editing to escalate the momentum of a sequence as it progresses towards the crescendo. It is Rocky's introduction sequence in KGF Chapter 1. What is the ultimate goal of the sequence here? It is to reveal Rocky's face. But how does Prashanth Neel arrive there? That is fascinating. A common trait in many important sequences in Prashanth's films is that multiple scenes set in different locations and involving different characters come together to make one whole sequence. The introduction sequence of Rocky is no different. It brings together 4 locations. 1. The godown where Rocky is hanged. 2. Shetty's place where Kasim is informed that Rocky has been caught. 3. The sea where some boats and people are waiting to reach the shore. And 4. The house of the father of the goon who trapped Rocky. The edit pattern keeps cutting back and forth from one scene to the other as each character learns about Rocky's entrapment. Prashanth brings all of these different scenarios together and brilliantly builds the mood towards Rocky's reveal. The pattern to cut from one location to the other takes a backseat once the action begins. But the 4th location, the boats and the sea, are used for an ultimate payoff at the end of the sequence. This is a mark that is quite evident in Ugramm 2, which, being his debut, is Prashanth's tamest film in terms of editing and pacing. Towards the end of Ugramm, as the film sets the stage for the climactic battle that marks the return of hero Agastya to this violent town that once dreaded him, we see his bloodthirsty enemies gathering together to seek their revenge, seek vengeance. The scene keeps cutting between Agastya riding a bike and his enemies plotting their revenge. It is indeed one sequence where tension is uplifted with its editing.
ಮಣ್ಣಾಗೆ ಅದರ ಋಣ ತೀರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನರು ರಕ್ತ ಹರಿಸಿದಾನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನರು ಅವನ್ ರಕ್ತ ಕುಡಿಯಕ್ ಕಾಯ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
And once again, I'm sure that the editing is this edit pattern is pre-planned. There is a similar sequence in KGF chapter 1 just before Rocky is set to enter Narachi. The sequence keeps cutting between the fight and Kasim, our hype man.
Dushman, petrol. Dushman ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅವನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಉರಿತಾನೆ. Daga, 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 daga.
The hype man's words inject energy and character into what could have been just another fight scene. Again, Prashanth Neel knows this.
खुदा की कसम ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ.
KGF chapter 2 is Prashanth's wildest work yet. Also, it also has a terrific moment where intercuts between different locations render a super cinematic and dramatic effect. It comes just before the intermission sequence. Here, the crescendo is the reveal about Rocky's motive for flying to Dubai. In true blue Prashanth Neel style, that too happens with intercuts between Rocky and Reena in Dubai and Vanaram revealing Rocky's plan to kids in KGF.
ಬೇರೆ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ರೌಡಿಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಡೆದು ಬರೋ ನೀನು ಇನ್ನೂರಿಗೆ ಬರೋ ರೌಡಿಗಳು ಬಿಡ್ತೀಯಾ?
ಶೆಟ್ಟಿನ ಹೊಡೆದರೆ ಅವನ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ.
ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಇನಾಯತ್ ಖಲೀಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
I repeat, KGF 2 is Prashanth's most interesting work in terms of editing. And allow me to repeat once again, it is strongly linked with writing. Here is an example of how he uses editing to lead proceedings towards one crucial point. At one point in KGF chapter 2, when officers begin conducting extensive searches on Rocky's gold, Prashanth treats the whole sequence like a musical. The sequence keeps oscillating between Rocky's mansion in KGF and the raids. The high point of the sequence, or rather, again, a super dramatic move that involves a helicopter, that aligns with the officers finally discovering one piece of gold, that one gold biscuit. Had these two sequences been played individually, they might have looked rather plain, but together they are sensational. That is the magic of editing. And Prashanth, as I said, he is super aware of this facet. On a similar note, a simple event, a conversation between Ramika Sen and Raghavan is dramatized by intercutting the conversation with a fight sequence. There is no context given to the action sequence. In other words, it serves purely as a filler.
ಅವನು ಹೊಡೆದ. ಅವತ್ತಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎದುರು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
But man, it accentuates the sequence because the conversation is about Rocky's rise and power, which is playing right in front of us. Of course, being the great masala filmmaker he is, he perfectly uses reaction shots in almost all of these heroic scenes.
और एक माँ की दुआ है.
But what separates his style from other filmmakers who also use fast-paced editing style is his commitment to the craft even beyond action sequences. Another terrific and one of my favorite sequences in his filmography is a summary of Rocky's life presented in one song. That song, it ties Rocky's present to his past. I wonder how it might have looked on paper, but in the film, it is mind blowing how this sequence starts with a story, goes to Rocky's mother's story, follows his childhood, and traces his journey until he arrived at KGF.
ನಿನ್ನ ಕೈ ಹಿಡಿದು ನಡ್ಸೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾನಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಮುಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೈ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಧೈರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಎದುರು ನಿಲ್ಲೋದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
KGF 2 has an equally interesting sequence. As the question about Rocky's greed rises, we see an old man buying liquor, a flashback of Rocky's mother, a grave being dug, and a lot more. At first, it is hard to make sense of what's happening. It is only after a good few minutes do we see the old man who was introduced earlier, enter the scene. When Rocky reveals that it is his father, we go back to his mother's past, and the sequence finally finds closure.
ನಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ
Prashanth Neel is super aware of the craft and he knows how to uplift moments with editing, which is why I think there aren't many scenes in his films. His films consist of sequences comprising of many scenes. That's it from this video. Thank you very much for watching.
ಅವ್ರು ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಿದ ಭಯನ ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅಗಸ್ತ್ಯ ಒಂದು ಹಿಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವಾಡ್ನ ಬಳಸಿ ತತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಹೋದ ಮುಗ್ಗುರನ್ನ ಕಬ್ಜಾ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ದ.